Hey again, Reg Techies. Welcome to the only podcast that helps employers and recruiters connect with more candidates through technology-inspired conversations. Mastering recruitment technology is the key to hiring great talent. That's why my show exists. All right, so Andre Boulais is a veteran in the HR tech space with past stints at vendors like Jobvite, Intello, and Silk Road. And today he is the new Chief Revenue Officer at CNECT, spelled CNECT. It's a new hiring software platform, and he joins me now from, I think, Indiana.
That's right. Yeah, Indianapolis. So I've been able to be based in Indy, but work for a lot of tech companies all over Silicon Valley and beyond. So, Chris, thanks for having me. You were one of the first key friends that I made in our space back in 2000, and I think it was 2012. I came in and took over as the head of sourcing for a company called ExactTarget, the largest digital marketing SaaS platform, and they sent me down to SourceCon Dallas, where I met you, David Marr, Dinah Whitechurch, a lot of key individuals I've stayed friends with and partners over the last 10 to 12 years. And again, really appreciated that because again, my journey started out as a little bit different being on the recruiting tech side, where I spent the first decade of my career as a global head of talent acquisition
Mhm.
for ExactTarget until we were acquired by Salesforce. So really fun times in that capacity as well too.
Well, I'm sure that experience served you well too in your new and you once you went into the HR tech space, right? You were a practitioner and now you're selling to practitioners. So yeah, talk about that a bit.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, to be honest, I think the insight that I have from 10 years of being both a user and also being a buyer. I mean, I was in charge of a well over $500,000 technology budget at Salesforce as the head of sourcing when they acquired us from ExactTarget. It was really interesting to see I didn't want to just find a technology that was going to look great on a demo, but not actually help my team. So for me, when I left the role of head of sourcing for Salesforce and went into the work tech space as the first employee in Indiana at Jobvite to lead their CRM division and really build out professional services in the CRM Jobvite Engage for them, I really wanted to have a mindset of being a partner first, not being a vendor. And that's really helped well. I've been very fortunate to go, the last two tech companies I've been able to go after when I made the switch into senior leadership in the work tech space have both grown tremendously and had the great fortune to be acquired. But I really think that ethos of like really putting yourself in the lens of not only the buyer, but the head of TA, the CHRO, and also the user in the work tech space is really different. And I think it's really helped us really partner with customers to have strong retention, but also to see them exceed their goals and to make sure that we're there to move the biggest rocks in front of them with the technology as a key part of that team as well too.
Yeah. So how did you end up at Connect? Tell me about that story.
Yeah, Connect's been really fascinating. So it's a company that I've been aware of for quite some time. They've been around for 4 years. It's got a unique story where the CEO and founder of Connect actually started his career as a recruiter in Boston. So way back when he was in the recruiting process, had a lot of success there. Actually left the recruiting career and launched his own company into the wellness space and did very, very well there. Led the company to extreme growth over 14 years and acquisition by Richard Branson's company, Virgin Pulse. And so when he was tinkering around the last few years of kind of what was going on in the recruiting tech space, he really saw the process hadn't
Mhm.
changed a lot since he started out 20 years ago. And so for him, it was all about building something totally different that would modernize the hiring process. Because as you and I have seen, there's been a lot of layoffs in our industry for talent acquisition. I think a lot of the folks that have been on the other side of the coin, as far as recruiters and hiring managers, are now seeing the pain point of being applicants. They're reaching out to 100 jobs, they're getting almost zero feedback. It's taken a ton of reach outs to be just a number, not an actual person. So our CEO started building 4 years ago the idea of the last digital resume you're ever going to create. So creating a platform that really embraced candidate engagement. So it was a tool that was as good as for our customers to hire faster as it was for the candidate to have a world-class candidate experience. So even the folks that you reject want to come back to your company for more and more. And so I had the chance to kind of observe the company a year ago through an executive connection, really see what the problem was up to, give a little bit of direction there, join the company on the advisory board, and really get a good idea of what had happened. And what I loved, Chris, is like I've never seen a technology this built out at this stage of a company. Usually companies launch a minimal viable product and they sell the heck out of it, they demo it really well, but in reality can only do a small portion of what it shows. Connect spent 4 years getting it right. They could have taken this to market 2 years ago. They could have taken it to market a year ago. They really took time to make sure that they had all their compliance in place, have the technology be really built to scale. Where if we wanted to put 10 million people on our platform this afternoon, it wouldn't flinch for a second. So I really had a chance to really observe the company grow and to really get a good idea of the tech and kind of play around with everything as an advisory board member. And really, I love the idea of, going to Intello, growing that company tremendously, getting them to acquisition and then sticking around and kind of blend the companies at Silk Road. But when it came a chance to join the CEO as a chief revenue officer at CNECT, I saw a huge opportunity to come in and really see what the future of recruiting was and to stay at the front of the wave there in that capacity.
Okay. So it's a hiring software, but is it just an ATS? And how would you describe it for us, for the audience?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, it's a lot of things to a lot of different people, but at its simplest, it's a modern hiring platform that if you already have an ATS and you want to come in and have an ATS that's going to have a high level of candidate engagement, it fits very perfectly with you. If you've never had an ATS before, if you're an SMB or a smaller company that, has never really had a full system, you don't really have a full recruiting team, it marries perfectly to be the first applicant tracking system that you have as a modern hiring platform. The tool really blends the technology and the AI to do the work of like a 10-person team. So it lets a lot of folks that have a smaller recruiting team or don't have a recruiting team punch above their weight. And they do that by a personalized candidate experience.
What's the target customer, Andre?
The target customer for us has been traditionally, somebody that's going to be in the SMB space. We have a lot of success for the SMB, anywhere from, 10 employees to 500 employees. Those folks that are high growth, that have high volume hiring, the ones that want to have a really good candidate experience and really engage with the individuals to create a future talent pool to fish out of. We do very well in that space, but we also do equally well with the larger companies as well. We're getting a lot of interest in the enterprise and mid-market as a candidate engagement platform to sit in front of the ATS. So, we're a little ahead of schedule here at CNECT. We've had a really successful first 60 days to kind of launch to kick off the year. What we found is everyone, I've reached out to my network that we've showed this to that is, say a head of talent acquisition for a 90,000 person company. They've said, you know what, we want this right now as a candidate engagement platform. We don't have anything as personalized as this to sit in front of our ATS to make sure that all of our applicants are getting multiple touch points. All of our applicants feel like they are a part of our culture during the process. And really that's what CNECT was founded on. It was a way to treat the candidates as well as our companies treat their customers and to really have that. Where in most cases, applicant tracking systems, they don't really care about they say they care about the candidate experience, but if you ask the candidates, it's totally opposite. At CNECT, it's different. We have folks that get rejected that say, you know what, that was the best experience that I've had, even though I got rejected. I'm definitely interested in kind of staying abreast of the company and applying again as soon as I get an opportunity.
Okay, so break that down for me. Like you make some examples of why you're so candidate first, and maybe start with that the rejection example, maybe.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things, and I had the advantage at Salesforce and at JobVite, we built thousands of campaigns for how to do like soft landings and rejection out of the ATS and to be launched with the CRM. So knowing what works best in that capacity to improve a Glassdoor rating, to put someone to be more successful in that area. So what we do with our technology is that if you apply for a job, typically you apply and you upload a resume to a typical applicant tracking system and it kind of stops there. What's different about CNECT is that we instantly engage you. We measure your engagement and say, hey, Chris, thanks for applying today. We would love for you to do a first impression video. You're more than your resume. Give us a 30 or 60-second soundbite on who you are as a person and why you're applying for a job. So we can instantly measure, great, we've got 100 applicants. And now we have 100 applicants. And guess what? We've asked all 100 to do the first impression video. Hey, 20 have done their first impression video. Let's start there. They're already engaged. Our system can then prompt them with prompts of answering key questions, moving things along the process. So no more first and second round interviews. Really, you're getting all the key information answered. We have asynchronous video back and forth. So if I'm a hiring manager, I can have a video recorded to say, hey, Chris, thanks for doing your first impression video. A few more questions before we meet face to face. Hey, tell me about X, Y, and Z. Give me an example of how you've overachieved your quota. Tell me this and that. So you're getting all the core information answered, and it can be done on your phone. We have an app that's able to have real-time feedback. So if you're an applicant, you've got the app downloaded, and we're going to give a private invitation to my network for anybody to set up a CNECT profile after this as well too. You real time see what's happening, Chris. So imagine like you've applied for 20 jobs and you never hear anything. Well, imagine if instead on your phone you were getting a notification every time. With CNECT, when you download the app, anytime you've applied through a job for one of our employers, anytime that somebody thumbs up a resume internally or they like it or anything else, or there's any interaction, you're getting a real-time notification. So, and you could obviously turn this off and gate it as much as you want from an employer standpoint, but you can give a candidate experience for real time. Wherever somebody touches your resume, they get an idea of the interaction. So, if you've applied to 20 jobs and 19 haven't gotten back to you for 3 weeks, but one company's already had to do a first impression video, has already sent you a welcome video from the hiring manager. They've already done all these different things. You're all of a sudden seeing that you're able to move through the process faster. And we're taking a process that is traditionally taking companies months. We're getting it done in a matter of days. CNECT has, a good core of customers. It's the only product that I've ever seen where it's 100% referenceable. So we've got, just under 50 customers right now. They're across all industries: staffing, healthcare, restaurant, food service, accounting, financial services. Unilaterally, they are seeing on average 25 to 50% hiring faster. So it's a better candidate experience, and you're improving your time to fill by almost 50%. And that was one of the biggest draws to join as the chief revenue officer for CNECT.
Yeah. A couple questions on that.
Yeah.
Do you, for the settings for the employers that where they can, where the seeker is able to
Yeah.
get feedback from the process here, do you turn on all those automatically and leave it up to the employer to turn them off, or is it do they have to go in there and set those
Yep.
initially in the implementation?
Great question. So we've got a boilerplate of how it's set up, but we do a custom implementation for everyone that we roll out. So, one of the first hires that I had at CNECT was I brought over our vice president of customer success, Michael De Los Reyes. So he was a customer of mine at JobVite. He was the head of TA for a division of Farmers Insurance, one of our customers. He was a P professional services leader at JobVite, and then he joined me at Intello and then Silk Road as a key professional services and customer success leader. He joined us a month ago, and so we're really bringing an enterprise level of delivery that has been, we won awards for IDC and Gartner as like the top professional services. We're really taking kind of that level of services to all of our customers, whether you're an SMB, a mid-market, or enterprise customer. So we are able to do a high level of discovery on the front end during the prospect's job cycle, to then come in once somebody's hired in the implementation and just figure out exactly what they need to do. We're actually flying on set. We're actually flying to Wisconsin for a large customer we just signed to do a 3-day implementation to modify it just how they want it to be, to make sure we give best practices in that capacity.
Yeah, I mean, as a job seeker, as an advocate of the job here, which I've been for many years, I the more feedback you can give these candidates, the better. And I would almost force your clients to actually, make sure they do this stuff, right? Don't let them uncheck feedback, things like that. We
Yeah,
need to
no,
make the job search process better, and I think you guys are onto something here. But yeah, keep pressing on it. Give job seekers more control over their experience there, Andre.
100%. We just did a webinar a few weeks ago with myself, Matt Craven, and Elaine Davidson. And one of the stats we pulled away from that webinar was that 80% of candidates, if they have a poor candidate engagement experience, will not consider applying for your company in the future. So the reality is, you could have a highly charged ATS that you spend, 6 to 12 months to roll out. But then if you have a poor candidate engagement experience, you might only be able to re-engage 20% of your rejected candidates. Well, what if 50%? What if 60% were still engaged even when you rejected them? What if you had templates and board plates in place to nudge them at every step in the process to say, hey, the AI is doing all the work, that they're being reached out to by a helper from the recruiting team. They don't know if it's AI or if it's from an actual person. But they're nudging them saying, Chris, hey, you applied. We're still waiting for that first impression video. We give you a few nudges over the next week. But if we've reached out 4 times gently with our messaging and you haven't replied, we're going to let you know, hey, Chris, we really appreciate you applying. Timing's not right on both sides. It looks like right now. We're going to go ahead and disposition you if we don't have your first impression video in the next 12 hours. We still want you to be considered for future opportunities. Here's what you can do to make sure you get a job with us. And if something changes, please let us know. That way the ball's in their court. They're like, you know what? I guess they reached out to us 5 times in a week. You know what? I should have done my first impression video, or maybe I got a job or something else. But we're gently letting them go at every time, where even the disposition is like, follow us on social media, do this. Do you know anybody that's a good fit for this position? We love for a referral. Here's a referral link. So at every stage, we are making the candidate pool very powerful, because we're energizing them to bring in their network as well too, and to have a great and a world-class experience. And then again, fish out of that candidate pool. A lot of our customers hire over and over again from the same candidate pool for their applicants. And we know what it's like to re-engage those silver medalists. And one of the last things that I'll say in that capacity is, what I have loved diving into our customers the first 60 days and talking to them, what we hear from the customers is the feedback from the candidates is like they've never had before. We've heard over and over different industries, customers that have never talked to each other say the same thing. Hey, our candidates tell us that when they came on site for their interview, they weren't nervous for the first time in years. Well, why weren't they nervous? They weren't nervous because they felt they already knew the culture. They'd already interacted so much with short videos back and forth with the hiring manager and the culture. They really felt like, hey, this person knows me for me and is bringing me in there. I know what they're about by studying them by the information. I'm not scared of the interview, where it's so much, think of the other side of it. I've applied to 100 jobs. I finally get an interview. I might be really nervous because this is my one shot to get it right? This is the only, I have had 0 interaction except I have an interview set with you for next Tuesday. I might be freaking out. But if you and I have traded 10 messages for like 30-second sound bites back and forth, I'm going to be much more comfortable. I'm going to feel like, okay, I know Chris, I get an idea of his vibe. I'm going to have a conversation with him. And from a candidate standpoint, this is the last resume we're going to have. You've got your digital resume uploaded. We're going to pull from key skills. We're going to understand who you are. We're going to suggest things. Hey, you were an executive at Silk Road. Did you report to a board? I did. Hey, it's on your resume. Can we add that as a key skill? Yeah, I'd love to. So the system's learning as well from the applicants and looking at their background history to try and give them the strongest version of themselves. And the applicants can record, 3 different, first impression videos. So, they have a teleprompter, they've got best practices. We're setting them up to stand out from everybody else by having their resume as well as a first impression video to show their unique culture and to show their engagement as well, too.
How's your apply process? Is it quick and easy?
It's extremely easy. You can apply within like 30 seconds.
There's no
So,
login required or anything?
nope, you can instantly you can apply with an existing resume, or if you don't have a resume, you can just apply in general as well too. We make it extremely simple for you to apply for a position. In fact, I just hired an account executive and was able to complete the hiring process within 10 days. Usually that's like a 45-day with presentation, with everything else. In 10 days, including presentation, we were able to have an offer out and an offer accepted. And I'm actually onboarding him right now. He's a couple rooms over here at the workspace that I'm out of as well. So
Nice.
amazing to see the speed. And again, I was able to do my own video though. So if you go out to our account executive job, the account executive that's posted out on the career website, it literally has a video of me saying who the company is, what I'm looking for, and who I am as a manager, right? Because the reality is I'm not the right match for everybody. There's folks that are like very, black and white. I'm going to be more of a passionate person. I'm going to be more someone that goes with the big ideas. That style's not for everybody, but I was able to put my video with the job description out there immediately so people could see who I was, what the culture I was, and everything else as well too. So if you hit the account executive role here, you can real time see, as an employer, imagine every role that you have, you could do a video for rec techies. You could talk about exactly what you want to find in an intern.
Like that. Nice. Yep. Um,
And if you think about how important
I
culture
like how
is,
you break out the skills here and stuff, kind of like little word tags. That's pretty nice.
yeah, and I can modify that
Mhm.
as well too. And so, we're in this case, we're actually pulling our AI pulls from the actual resume for the skills, but not keywords. We're actually looking at the job and experience that you have to match those skills. Most places they just do keywords. I know good friend old Batman Cohen, Mike, he's big on always showing how he gets he gets recruited for being a developer when he has zero of that on his actual background, but he has it all over his LinkedIn. So it just shows where the keywords kind of like cheat the search. But again, upload a resume, don't have one, not a problem, right? Go out without a resume. If you have a Connect profile, you can sign with your profile. So from a candidate standpoint,
Yeah,
you
I like that. Let's stop here for a second. I like this apply page here because you've got 3 simple options. You can browse, you can upload your resume right there. You can continue without a resume,
Mhm.
which I think is, that's one thing missing from a lot of ATSs out there, or you can sign into the Connect platform, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that aspect of it.
one of our core values, Chris, is to be easy to do business with and to be easy to apply with, right? So it's super simple. We want to make sure this is going to be one of the easiest products you have to use. And the really cool thing is, from a candidate standpoint, when you set up a Connect profile and you have, you either have the app or you have your profile online, the great part about it is you come in with an avatar with your name jumbled up. So nobody can see your information unless you apply for a job. So there's a whole talent community of professionals that live that can be 100% private from anybody else. It will always stay gated away from everybody as well too. And from there, you can manage your entire process. You could have, all the jobs you're applying for, see where you are with everything. You can have this hub going at all times to track everything. And you can have, multiple first impression videos, and you can actually send out your Connect profile. So if I want to apply for a job with Rec Techies and I'm like, well, I can never get past they've got too many employees, I can't get past them. But I know Chris, I can reach out to you with an email and I can say, hey, take a look at my Connect profile. It's going to have your digital profile and a video of you saying why you're a great fit for that role. That is such a leg up because we're realizing I think 75% of folks would rather take folks from employer referrals or from an internal connection than to go through applicants. So this lets you really stand out because every single person out there is more than just a resume. They are a human being. They've got a story to tell. In fact, we thought this was going to be heavily used by, certain age demographics for our candidate pool. Not the case. In fact, over 70% of our candidates that are 50 years old or older, all of them are doing first impression videos as well too. And the nice thing is, if you don't feel comfortable with the video, you don't have to do it. You can just do audio only if you want to. You don't have to. You can self-select out of the. But we found at all levels, folks are very comfortable doing a quick video of themselves to tell their story, and they want to tell their story.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this copy job link too. The side note, a LinkedIn, like put this on every LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
Like I hate having to go to the URL bar to get that person's LinkedIn URL.
Yeah, it drives you
A
crazy,
simple little
right?
thing like this, you just sold me right there, Andre. So
Well, it's good. It's
a little
good.
side note there.
We
All right.
and so I think that, I mean, Chris, I think part of my story is, I've spent, my entire career, 20 years in talent acquisition technology. And so I've seen what works well and what doesn't work well. And so, what I was so attracted to is joining Michael Nadeau, our CEO, and Dave Smith, our CTO, that have worked together for the last 14 years to really see a way to like come in at the ground floor and build it the right way, right? So many times I've gone into a company where it's like, okay, well, we've done it this way for a long time. We can't go back and architect. We've got so many bugs. We have all of this. The product runs clean. It is a very, very strong product. So, if you look at other folks in the space right now, the great recruiting tech companies, there's a lot of great ATS companies out there. There's a lot of wonderful ones out there, but they're really struggling to innovate, right? Because right now that they've grown to such a big size, they're trying to keep up with customer requests. They're dealing with bugs, and in a lot of cases, a lot of the companies that have been acquired by private equity firms, they've cut a lot of staff. So they're really, there doesn't leave a lot of room for innovation. Where CNECT is self-funded, right? We've bootstrapped our company. We've done very well with our customer base. We're expanding like crazy, and we're constantly innovating. We have a CEO that doesn't want to go out and sell the company. Like, he's someone that is fully invested in the company and wants to keep growing this with the best product that we can have out there, and really, the last modern hiring platform to get out there. So to really look at the way that folks interact. Look, I mean, I've got 3 kids. I look how they interact with like their phones or their iPads. You look at anybody on a college campus, what they're doing. Everybody wants the asynchronous video, the back and forth, the quick messages. That is how people are communicating. So we're at the front of that wave right now, and it's really exciting. And I'd love to show a little bit of it as well too, if I can.
Yeah, feel free to share. We got about 10 more minutes here.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, so how do you make this big, Andre? It's a pretty tough market out there from an ATS standpoint. There's hundreds of ATSs. How does Connect make a name for itself? What's your plan there?
Yeah, it's going really well so far. So my 30, 60, 90 is going well, as well as our 1 year quarterly plan. So I mean, George LaRoche did a great report on kind of the work tech space. He talked about, the total addressable market in 2026 for work tech is going to be $960 billion. So, there's a lot of money out there for everybody to find and get out there and go after. Our first year, our first quarter was really about establishing who Connect is, getting the word out there, really establishing it. When I made my CRO announcement, we had the largest influx in website traffic we'd ever had. We had the largest influx in LinkedIn followers. We've already increased our LinkedIn followers by 50%. We're already getting into much bigger conversations. And so far, everybody's seeing this is either a clear path of like, hey, this should be our ATS, or honestly, let this be our canned engagement solution. So for my side, we want to keep refining what we do. We want to capture customer success stories. Our goal was 10 stories the first quarter of the year. We have 25. So we've crushed our goal. And folks are like, hey, can I give you more than one quote? Can I share more? Can I share more? I've never had anything like that. And so for us, it's getting out and getting from the market, getting as many at-bats as possible with all sizes of companies, and then starting to get in there as well too. I mean, like I said, we're ahead of schedule. We set some pretty big targets, and we're doing a really good job of going after them and hitting them, and just aggressively hiring to bring in more folks on the sales side, to go with our great CS team, our great marketing team, and our great product team, go out there and deliver what we're doing right now as well too.
Cool. All right, we'll share your screen, do a quick high level, 3-minute demo here of what you
Yeah,
guys do.
I'd love to. And again, thanks again for having me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let me see. So this is one of my favorite quotes as well. This is actually a good friend of mine who has been a customer. So Alex Ching has had a fascinating career in talent acquisition. He has worked with Elon Musk, early stage Tesla. He's worked at Workday. He was the head of recruiting strategy for Airbnb, where he and I met, and was a global TA leader for Gong. He has relocated to Dallas and has done very well, where he can go back into large scale TA leadership, but he doesn't have to. He's got a lot of side businesses that he runs.
Mhm.
He bought a multi-million-dollar cleaning company. They do cleaning for the Dallas Cowboys players' houses. They do a lot of cool things, but he wanted a modern hiring platform that could help him scale with his 20 to 30 person company. And so he reached out and saw Connect and purchased Connect. Literally, you can see his quote there. He's never seen a team work so quick to implement Connect. When I tell you this thing is fast to implement, when he signed on a Thursday, I think it's 6 p.m. on a Thursday, within 30 minutes, we had built out his career site. He had a career site built out. It was branded. It was linked to all of his social media. We had videos embedded on his company, who he was, the values and everything. So the beauty of the technology is what usually takes like, weeks or months of implementation. within 30 minutes, we're set up and ready to go in that capacity. So he was blown away by that. He's got tons of quotes about it as well, too. We recently trained his team of managers on site at the Dallas headquarters location for CNECT. And they're like, this is the easiest software we've ever had to use. They're like, we don't have a background in talent acquisition. This is very, very simple to use. So we make it very simple from the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay.
So if you look into the system on the employer side, it's really simple, right? It's very clean. You've got it set up. You can see all of your jobs. Say we go in there, we want to hire, a bartender. I can sort by when the jobs were published. I can filter by a variety of things. I can create a new job if I want to. So it's really easy. And one of the great parts about our AI is that it works amazingly fast. So let's just say for fun, I want to hire a zookeeper, right? So we're going to hire a zookeeper, and I'm going to say generate job post. Now I can import an existing job template or a blank job post and do it from what it is, but literally in a matter of seconds, this is going to go out and it's going to look all over the web to find the job posts that have been the most interacted with and have the largest amount of traffic. It's going to build me a zookeeper. And there we go. As a zookeeper, your opportunity, what you're going to do, your behavior. It's got the qualifications. You've got to have a passion for animals, strong knowledge, a bachelor's degree in biology, zoology related field, experience with animals. It's got everything in there. Now I can take this and keep all of it, or I can cut out and edit it. I can hit regenerate, take what I like and change whatever and have it run it again. And it'll keep doing it. It'll have skills that it believes. First aid is probably very important as a zookeeper. Empathy, problem solving. I can go in and say, actually, you're going to be working with, our gorillas. So we're going to make sure you want to be an expert with empathy. It's required. We can change the status real time for what we want. We can take all the benefits. We can drop in the compensation. I can do a job post video on why you want to be, why I'm hiring for this role and how essential it is. I can put all the information in here instantly, and then I can save it and create a job and then immediately build out a career website in seconds with it and have it ready to go and be able to share it internally as well. So the system works very quickly in that capacity. And so imagine if, for a zookeeper, what this would do for a software engineer or for anything else as well too. It's amazing.
Well, yeah. What's your favorite part of the platform? Do you have one feature you really like?
It's the candidate engagement. It's the candidate engagement. The idea that, if I go into my candidate pool, let's say I've got let's say I want to go in and see a job for, I want to see maybe one of my jobs that let's say a bartender, right? I go into the bartender job and I have swim lanes immediately, right? So I've got all my candidates in here. I can see real time what level of skill match they are. Now these skills can go up as well during the process. They apply for a job and they might say, "Hey Harper, this is a job in a wine bar. Do you understand, wine, Merlot, et cetera?" She says yes. The AI instantly adds that as a skill set for her. Skill set bumps up to like a 75. So it's real time interacting. I can go in and see the first impression videos. I can see all the things that they've done really easily. And then if I have someone that's applied, I'm like, hey, I know Isabella. She worked for me in my last company. She's great. I'm going to just slide her over into the screen stage and move her along the process. I can real time modify this process very easily. And at the same time, see where my candidates are. And then I can see real time where she's rated. I can see she's got the job experience, 5 years. She's got, she can work the hours. I've already pre-screened her out to save, hours of time and hours of interviewing by having her answer questions over video. And then I can go into her profile. I can see all of her information here. I can see her background. I can watch her first impression video, and I can real time move this process along. So for me, it's an amazing way to accelerate the process. But the great thing is, if I hire Sabrina, Javier, Colin, Harper, they're all going to get a lot of touch points along the way. So even when they get rejected, they're going to stay in my candidate pool. So when I have if I'm in a restaurant business, I'm always hiring for these folks. So when somebody turns in their notice or leaves, I've got a fleet of individuals engaged and ready to go, and I can encourage them to follow us on social media. All the key things that we have is there too.
Nice. Well, I have a heart out, Andre, so appreciate the quick tour today. Tell the audience where to go to learn more about CNECTed.
Yeah, you can go to www.connected.com, CNECTED.com, or you can email me directly to set up a demo at aboulais, ABOULAIS at CNECTED.com. And I'll close out here for everyone that is looking for work right now. This is a preview of the CNECT profile for the job seeker. So you can set up a profile, record videos, do everything that you want to do here, and use this to reach out and have that first impression and find a job with amazing employers out there through CNECT. So really look forward to helping everybody out as well too in our field. And Chris, thanks so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, Andre. It's great to see you again, and good luck with the product.
Awesome.
That will do for this episode of the RegTech Podcast. Be sure to follow us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, via the @RegTech Media handle. See every video, podcast, and blog we publish. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember, always be recruiting.
Looking for your next HR technology role? Go to your browser, type in hrtechjob.com, and browse hundreds of jobs with the best HR technology vendors. HR tech professionals finally have a dedicated job marketplace to find work or be found. Sign up for job alerts or post a resume. Discover jobs with companies like Workday, Phenom, HiBob, Deal, and more. You'll even find HR tech roles with employers in case you want to work with managing HCM or HRIS platforms. HR Tech Job, the only job market for HR technology careers. Join us at hrtechjob.com.